replacement, noting that an engineering assessment will determine whether the current facility can be expanded vertically or if an entirely new construction will be required. Early projections estimate a new jail could cost between $300 and $400 million, prompting concerns over potential funding sources, as well as the impact on property taxes. County leaders are exploring bond financing and alternative funding options as they confront what is becoming an unavoidable necessity. Meanwhile, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is alerting residents about a phone scam that falsely appears to come from their official phone number. Sheriff Mike Fitzhugh reports that a retired federal agent was targeted by a caller claiming the deputies were coming to get him, with the scammer spoofing the department's number at 615-898-7777. Authorities stress that law enforcement will never demand payment or threaten arrest over the phone. The Sheriff's Office is urging the public to hang up on suspicious calls and report them immediately, reinforcing a message of caution as these deceptive tactics become increasingly sophisticated throughout the county. That's all for now. I'm Dalton Barrett for WGNS Radio, and I'll talk to you later.
The Good Neighbor Network, on air and online at wgnsradio.com. Rutherford County's most trusted source for local news.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSsports.com, Big GTV, streaming video, and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches for decades. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's. We'll sit down with the coaches to talk about their most recent games and the matchups ahead. Now from WGNS and Big GTV, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
Good morning on this Saturday, January the 30th? Gosh almighty, 31st. We're wrapping up the month of January and here with boys basketball coaches this morning. Sorry we missed last week in anticipation of the big ice storm and the week that has been. A full week out of school, but we did get back to some hoops last night, so that is a good thing. We were at the Rockvale Siegel games at Siegel last night, and in the boys game, we're going to talk boys coaches this morning. Arden Lewis was our SRM Concrete Solid performer, threw in 25 last night, and at the free throw line in the fourth quarter, I think he was like 10 of 11, something like that. So pretty much kind of a closer there for the Rockvale Rockets, and Rockvale girls were winners last night as well. I'll give you the girls winners here this morning as we're kind of condensed just a little bit this morning. MTSU Lady Raiders are playing at noon, so an 11:30 tip-off. That is a time change, and if you look at, well, I don't even have tickets anymore, but that they moved that game up from an evening game to noon, and then the men play right after, so it's a double header. It was supposed to be men then women, but now the women are going to tip it off at noon today, so 11:30 pregame. But MTCS girls and PCA winners last 55. So that's a look at the Jennings and Ayers Funeral Home scoreboard. Everything is updated there, and there are a few games today. Eagleville hosting Pickett County today. Riverdale will host the Blackman Blaze. Both of those girls at 5 o'clock. Well, let's see, girls at 2 o'clock versus Pickett County, and then Blackman Riverdale boys at 5 o'clock this evening. A couple of games that are going on today. PCA boys play Hall of Arkansas at 4:30. At home this afternoon, and that's a look at the schedule of games that are coming up. Again, we've got boys coaches this morning. Danny Brewer is going to kick us off here in just a second with Riverdale, Smyrna, then Blackman around 9:45 or so. I'll take over, and we'll have Laverne, Oakland, Stewart's Creek, Rockvale. Then John will wrap us up this morning with Siegel Eagleville and MTCS Cougar Corner right here on the Big G, WGNS and Big G TV. Stay with us. The coaches' conversation gets started in just a couple of minutes.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve. Since 1938, J. Mullins Jewelry has been Murfreesboro's trusted family-owned jeweler, helping you celebrate life's biggest moments with breathtaking diamonds, custom designs, and expert craftsmanship. From our first sparkle to redesigning Grandma's heirloom, we'll handle it all with care, quality, and honest prices big stores simply can't match. Expert repairs, one-of-a-kind creations, and service that feels like home at J. Mullins Jewelry, 1640 Memorial Boulevard in Murfreesboro, and mullinsjewelry.com.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. Danny Brewer, extremely pleased to be here this morning. It's a little bit chilly, but you know, it's kind of warm in here because we got one of the hottest coaches in the county, Michael Voss of Riverdale. Coach Voss, how are you this morning?
I'm good, Danny. How you doing, buddy?
Quite well, sir. So let's talk a little bit about the subject that everybody's talking about, the weather. You know, we've had a challenging week, no school. Tell me a little bit about the challenges of no school, trying to have practice, trying to make things happen.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about the situation we're in now. You know, I was talking about this with Tony last night over at Oakland. You know, even 15 years ago when we would have big delays like this, you have a lot of time where you can't go to school. When the district was spread out, you know, you were talking about our county, and then, you know, there was White County, Cookeville, Lebanon, and then the district has changed over the years. Well, now that it's all the same in county, you know, back then, if we were out of school, if we were told by our county or by our principal that we couldn't practice, like, there's really nothing you can do. You know, you're stuck at home. Well, we would be stuck, they would be practicing, or it could be a situation where White County couldn't get to the gym to practice and we were fine. Now it's different just because everybody's on the same playing field as far as that goes. So, you know, we knew Friday after the game that there was a chance that we were going to be out for a little bit. And being out for a little bit, we sat there and, you know, we just made a decision and we talked to the guys about, hey, we'll go whenever we can go. You know, it's just kind of part of it. We're not going to have control. And so what you got to do is you got to try to control what you can and not worry about the things you can't control. The weather's completely out of our hands. So that was the one thing about it this week is everybody should be dealing with the same thing.
Well, then the playing field is level, which is you can't ask for more than that.
No, and that's all you want is the playing field to be level. Like it's one of those things, you know, if you know, if we were able to practice and Oakland wasn't, or vice versa, like it kind of gives a little bit of an unfair advantage at times. But with the county kind of dictating from central office what we all can and can't do, it just makes things a whole lot simpler, and everybody's having to do the same thing.
So I know last night played Oakland. Of course, it was the same for both teams, but still, that huge rivalry game, Riverdale-Oakland, you know, we can talk on and on about the history of that rivalry. Things maybe didn't go the way you want. Tell me a little bit about what happened last night against Oakland.
I mean, we didn't play well at times, and they came out and played really well. They shot the ball really well early. And when you come out early, especially after you've been off of a break like that and you make shots, it's sometimes it makes the basket seem a little bit bigger. And you know, that's the thing about it is we were kind of in a rhythm a little bit. We had played pretty well the week before we got out. You know, we lost in overtime to Smyrna. Lost to Siegel, but we played well in both of those games. We kind of had figured some things out, and then you come to that crashing halt, and now you got to figure out that way to kind of get back into that rhythm. And one thing I do think about basketball, especially when you look at it, for us, it's a rhythm sport. In other words, you play every Tuesday and Friday. That's kind of what you're used to, especially when you get into district and region play. And so your body gets used to that rhythm. And that's the thing. We talked about it, and I don't think we necessarily handled it great last night, but what are you going to do to get back into a rhythm once you're out of it? And last night we didn't finish the ball well at the basket. We had opportunities there early, didn't capitalize, and it got us down early, which made us have to scramble late. To me, it felt like we were down. I felt like we were down 50 the whole night, and you look up and we're down 6, and we got a chance. And then, we turned the ball over. We got a chance to cut it to 8 going into the half. We turned the ball over, and instead of it being us down 8 or 7, we go in down 12, and just we never really recovered. And then they made a couple that Oakland did a good job late when we were having to kind of turn up the heat passing. They did a good job passing and catching, and just found the open guy when we were scrambling for layups. That extended the lead a little bit. They did a good job of handling it, and then we couldn't get any scores last night.
So let's talk about a kid who seems to have been in a pretty good rhythm, Wayman West. I know he hit double figures against Smyrna. I think he had double figures last night. Tell me a little bit about Wayman West and what he's been doing.
I mean, Wayman's a talented player. He's a very talented player. Last night, I don't remember what his stat line was last night. I know he was in double digits for us. I can't remember it right off the top of my head, but he played well, and that's the thing when he's locked in and he's kind of ready to go. He is a very, very talented player. He's got a chance to go play somewhere next year.
So he's a senior?
Yeah, he's a senior, and he'll have a chance if he wants to possibly to go play at a JUCO somewhere. But at the end of the day, he kind of suffered a little bit early from the same kind of rhythm things that we all suffered from. And, the thing about it is we get a chance to bounce back today and go play again against Blackman, which is a really good team. So we'll see what we're made of this afternoon.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in just a moment. I think he hit 14 last night. He had 19 against Smyrna, and he had 20 against Siegel.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's one of those things. It's when these games and when these weeks get to running together, you just I'm not real big on just tracking our guys' stats and seeing where everything's at and what everybody's doing, but he has played well over the last 3 or 4 games that we've had him.
And how do you think he's handled that? Because, when you're a double-figure scorer consistently like that, you get the bulls on your back. The other team's going to D you up. How has he handled that responsibility of being one of your go-to scorers?
Oh, I think he handles it fine. He's not afraid of that moment of having to go be a scorer. That's the thing. He's not afraid. He's not afraid to fill whatever role it is that he needs to fill. The first time that we played Oakland and won that first district game, right at that moment, he wasn't necessarily playing well offensively in that game and in that week. He kind of struggled a little bit scoring the basketball. But what he did was he defended, and he defended really well. You look at his Oakland stat line, and you're going to go, well, he only had 6 points. Oakland kind of limited what he did. Well, no, Ryan had 20. Ryan Wilkerson shot the ball well. But what Wayman did in that Oakland game was he defended and he rebounded. Nobody pays attention to the other stuff, and it's not like, you look up, he had 6 points and 3 or 4 rebounds, and everybody goes, well, he didn't have a good game. He had a great game. He defended Cobb very well. The Cobb kid only had maybe 6 points in that game. He had a great contest on the last shot in that game to make Yeshaya have to alter that shot. And I mean, he was one of the biggest contributors we had in that game. It doesn't show on a stat line at all, but you go back and grade the tape and you look, and he was arguably our best player that night. He just didn't do it with the ball in his hands. He did it with everything off the ball, and that's what, I don't think that's always appreciated at times, what guys can do. And Wayman is a guy that can do it on both ends of the floor. We've got some guys that can do it on both ends of the floor. We just got to find nights where we put it all together at one time.
So today, at Blackman makeup game.
It's at our place.
Oh, it's at Riverdale. Okay, yeah. So, fans, head on over there to Riverdale. It's a little bit earlier start, right? The girls' game tips at 5.
Girls is tipping at 5. We're obviously right after. There's no homecoming or anything in between, so there's no distractions or anything like that. Like, it's just 2 basketball games, and should be 2 pretty good basketball games tonight.
So Blackman, obviously, they've kind of been the bell cow of the county. You and Coach Workman got a long history together. I know that, you're close friends. Is this game a little bit more special for you guys, or is it just another basketball game?
It's just kind of another one right now, especially with it just being a region game and not counting for anything in the district. Every district game is special. Now the way that we're divided, like, this is a good opportunity to get some tape on somebody you're possibly going to see in the region play. It's obviously a rivalry game because we're literally 4 miles apart from each other. But my first couple of years when I was at Riverdale, I would get entirely too worked up over this game because I wanted to win so bad. And I actually, I had some bad moments in those games because I was so emotional in them, which is not like me at all. But now as the years have gone on, I love Barry. He's one of my best friends in the world. But at the end of the day, this is just another, it's not just another basketball game, but it is, if that makes sense. You don't put too much pressure on this when you just go out and play. And yeah, they've been the best team in the county, the most consistent team for the last, it's been 15 years now. But at the end of the day, we're just going to try to chip away a little bit at it today.
So another opportunity to get better and work on getting back in that rhythm for you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We've got a big home week this week. We got a home game tonight with Blackman, and then we play Laverne Tuesday night at our place, and then we've got Rockville at our place Friday night. So it's a big week for us from not only just kind of getting back in that rhythm, but also being in a rhythm at home, which sometimes I think can help a little bit too.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Well, it's fun time of the year because now things are really ramping up.
Yeah, no, they are ramping up. It's been weird because you look at it now, and in our district, Rockville for the most part they've got the 1 seed, I think, locked, if I'm looking at it right. Even if us and Oakland win, they're going to own the tiebreaker with everybody. So I think they locked up the district last night, and then we could have. Now we're in a little fight to get into that 3 spot with Oakland because we're tied. So what we're trying to do is we're going to try to beat somebody here over these next couple of weeks and just hope that plays to our advantage.
Well, I'm sure it will. Cool as a cucumber on the sidelines today, I'm sure you'll be. Mike Voss with Riverdale, we certainly appreciate your time and wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate it.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the best smoked barbecue, ribs, and many local favorites on Warrior Drive, locally operated by Anne Marie Brent and the Lanning family.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. With over 2 decades of experience, our ASC certified master technicians are experts in both foreign and domestic vehicles, ensuring accurate diagnosis and timely, cost-effective repairs. From oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
In Rutherford County, we need a sheriff who leads from the front, not from behind the desk. That's Kenneth Barrett, out on calls, side by side with deputies, tackling the tough stuff every shift. He's the working man's leader, supervising with sharp eyes, serving with steady hands, keeping our families safe. Born here, raised here, He's ready to protect here.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff, and I would appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff. Treasurer, Jan Stewart.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. Danny Brewer, happy to be back with you right now, and I'm joined by the leader of the Bulldogs, Omar Smith. Coach Smith, how are you this morning?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I'd be better if I had a win last night.
Well, you know, it was always a tough environment there. You played at Blackman. You know, I know the last couple of weeks, the Friday nights haven't been real good for the Bulldogs.
Right.
You know, you guys have been playing really, really well. And, of course, peaks and valleys is what this season can all be about because it's a marathon and not a sprint.
Absolutely. You know, the biggest thing is we got to understand how important it is to be consistent. And I think, you know, January is tough. There's a lot going on. You know, you're going Tuesday, Friday. Then, of course, like this year, you get that snow that comes in. So now everybody's sitting at home for a week doing nothing. You can't go practice. You can't get shots up. So then you have to go in Thursday, try to get practice plan together, a game plan together. And it's a lot, you know. And, you know, it's not an excuse. You know, everybody has to deal with it. But, you know, the guys that can deal with it the best obviously come out on top.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. Everybody has to deal with it. But some people deal with it better than others.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that goes back to just being able to lean on your coaching, your teaching, just continuously doing the things that you've always done right. You know, dealing with teenagers, sometimes you kind of lose that, and you know, trying to get them reeled back in and refocus and just ready to go. So it can be a little difficult, but you know, it's part of the journey, part of the grind. So we'll get there.
Oh, that's what it is. I mean, you're growing young men. That's what you do. So I want to talk about a couple of your kids. Number one, Jan Kinzer. I know against Riverdale last Tuesday, 40 points the kids put up. What a game this kid had.
40 points, no shots outside of the paint. He just, you know, he has a scorer's mentality. Sometimes that can get him in a little bit of trouble, but that was one of those nights where, you know, of course, when you're making shots, you keep shooting them. So he just kept making them, and we keep driving until they stop you.
That's right. Now, last night against Blackman, he didn't really have a good game. Of course, I think got nicked up a little bit, had to come out of the game a couple times with a couple of little nagging injuries and stuff, and never really got untracked.
Yeah, he, you know, and I'll give credit to Blackman for that. You know, one of the things we've preached to him and Caden is like, you're going to be at the top of people's scouting report. So, you know, Coach Wortman, Coach Rutland, these guys, they saw the score sheet. They saw you score 40. So they don't want you to score 40 on them. So they're going to have a game plan in place to make sure things are tough for you. So I think the biggest thing is for him to understand that sometimes he's kind of got to, you know, get it to somebody else and let other guys get going, and then the game will come to him eventually.
Well, yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. Of course, I want to talk about the other kid you mentioned, Caden Matthews. He did have a good game last night. He had 14 last night of your 34 points. Yeah. So, I mean, he almost scored half of what you had there. But he's another kid. I know that one of your assistants, Jalen Johnson, has really been in his ear about trying to toughen that kid up because he's long and he's lean, but he's got a really good game, but you feel like he needs to get a little bit tougher.
Get a little tougher, play a little bit lower. That's the biggest thing, is getting a good base, play low. You know, people don't understand, and I mean, not that I'm tall, but it's harder for tall people to understand that, you know. And I told him one day, I said, this is going to sound crazy, but being tall sometimes is a disadvantage because you're playing straight up. You don't have any leverage, so you have to learn to get low and get a base and use that strength in your legs to your advantage. So he's working on it. It's just something he's got to keep continuously practicing and getting better at, but he'll get there.
I think one thing last night, of course, when you played Blackman the first time, their post play really was a big factor against you guys. Last night you did a really good job of limiting their scoring in the paint.
Had you told me that we were going to hold Jalen McDonald to 9 points, I would have been very happy about that. He scored 18 on us the first game and just completely took over the game in the second half. And I thought, you know, I have to give props to Corey Daniel. Corey did a great job on him last night. Jalen only hit 2 shots from the field. And Corey's not a big physical kid. I mean, he's 6'5", but he's not a very physical kid. But he took it upon himself to make sure he was going to do that. You know, we had our starting post player, A.J. Wright, who's out. So Corey, you know, stepped up to the challenge, and I commend him for that.
Yeah, A.J., what's going on with him?
He's got a sprained MCL. He could have played last night, but, you know, we figured, you know, looking at the standings, it was no point in really risking him playing last night. So we think we'll have him back next Friday. We're just kind of get him some rehab. Had he been able to practice this week because of the snow, we probably would have played him. But he's, you know, been sitting around like everybody else, so I didn't want to just throw him out there off of one day of practice and, you know, risk anything with him.
Well, there's bigger games ahead, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, tournament sport, and as you get down to the crunch time, you want him to be ready.
Right. You know, I told him, I said, I can sit you for the rest of the year and have you ready for a district tournament, region tournament, which is important. So those things that we're kind of looking at, like, you know, getting him as close to 100% as we possibly can.
Because he gives you a bigger body, and he gives you a post presence.
Absolutely. You know, he's more physical, you know, probably – I guess he's the second biggest post in the region. So, you know, he gives us something that a lot of teams don't have. So, like I said, we definitely need him later on.
Let's talk a little bit about your guard play, Coach. Tell me a little bit about your guard play, especially point guard.
Brody Webb is our point guard. Brody's not shooting the ball very well this year. You know, he's played shooting guard most of the time for us. You know, he hit 6 threes in a quarter in a JV game a couple years ago, so he can shoot it, but because he's having to play point, that's taken away from what he naturally does. But if you look at his stats, he's not turning the ball over. You know, the other night he had 8 against Stewart Creek. He had 8 assists and one turnover. So he's taking care of the basketball. He's getting the ball to the people that need to get it to go score for us. So, you know, I'm very proud of what he's doing in the position that he wasn't originally supposed to be playing coming into this year.
Yeah, because he's doing the job of distributing, because you do have scorers. We talked about with Kinzer and Matthews, you've got some kids who can really score the ball.
Right. You know, then you got Corey Weathers over there. He's a football guy. He's our best on-ball defender. We put him on the other team's best perimeter player, and he takes it upon himself to do that. And, you know, he can go score a little bit. His numbers have gotten up. He's around about 9 points a game now, so he's giving us a little bit more offense than we had at the beginning of the year. And then at the same time, he's still playing defense and rebounding as well. So he's been huge for us also.
Weathers gives you a toughness, right? The toughness factor.
Very tough kid. You know, like I say, he plays cornerback, safety, plays wide receiver on the football field. So, you know, he doesn't back down from anybody. He hits the floor. He gets back up. He's going to go down there. He's going to get hit. He's going to keep fighting.
So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about what you got coming up this week.
We go to McGavock on Tuesday. So, we get out of the county, go to Metro. That'd be good for us. You know, Metro refs can kind of let you play a little bit. So, we'll get beat up a little bit and, you know, have to fight through it. And then we'll get back into district play against that team up there on Sam Ridley. They come to see us. And, you know, it was a great game the first time we played them. I expect them to come with that fire again. It's going to be another great game.
So, Laverne, you know, it's always a good game, right? It
Absolutely.
doesn't matter about the records because, you know, I've been watching Smyrna Laverne games for, you know, since the early 90s here. So, like I said, but always a good game.
Yeah, you know, Coach Greenwood's got those guys playing hard. They're not going to quit. They're not going to back down. So, you know, we're expecting a hard-fought game again. You know, like I tell the kids, you know, your parents grew up in this rivalry, and, you know, you look up in the stands, you see a lot of the legends come back, and they're rooting for you, so you better be ready to go.
Because it was an overtime game, right? Last time against Laverne was an overtime game there at their place. I know they feel like they let it get away, so they've got this chip on their shoulder. Laverne does that is.
You know, I'm sure they do. They did let it get away, and we can also say, well, we were up 10 at half, 12, so, you know, we shouldn't have let the game get that close either. So both teams can say, hey, this is what should have happened, and so that's the beauty of it. We get to play again, and we can settle it and you know, see who was the real deal.
You know, the rivalry has changed a little bit over the years because, you know, used to be you had a lot of Smyrna residents that went to Laverne, and now it's not that way. But I still think most of these kids know each other, right?
They do, and a lot of respect. You know, speaking of AJ, like AJ went to Laverne last year, and so we talk about some of the things that they did that made them successful as a program and kind of steal some of that stuff. So that rivalry is still there. It's never going anywhere. I think sometimes I wish our kids kind of understood it a little bit better, but, you know, we're preaching it to them and letting them know, like, this is what it is. You better be ready to go. Those kids are going to come in. They want to beat you regardless of their record. No matter what else is going on. If they can beat you, it's going to be a good year for them.
Well, I want to touch on the assistant I mentioned before, Jalen Johnson, because he played at Smyrna. So he's a guy that can kind of communicate to your kids this week about the importance and what all of it means, right? Because he's been a part of it.
Absolutely. You know, we talked to Jalen about it. We let him talk about it. You know, we go pull Coach Drayton in the locker room, let him talk about the rivalry. Coach Caldwell's in the building. We'll let him come talk about it as well. So we get people to come explain it to those guys so they can get an understanding of what it really is.
Yeah, Caldwell and Drayton, they're two guys, like you said, they went to war wearing the purple and gold and all that stuff. If they had a horse game, who do you think would win?
Well, Coach Caldwell owns the single-season record for threes made, but I've seen him shoot a basketball one time in my 5 years at Smyrna. I'm not sure why he won't shoot anymore. I'm going to issue the challenge right here. I want to see it. We could probably make it happen at halftime of the game Friday, I think.
I want to see it too. I think that Caldwell, God love him, I think that he may have had the record for threes made, but he also maybe had the record for threes taken, So if you shoot a bunch, maybe you make more, right?
It helps when you got a bunch of trees down and everybody's focused on them and you're wide open.
Yeah, because like I said, they're always been good. Okay, so when we think about the importance of the week coming up, like out of district and then district, the district games, I know that the tournament, everybody goes to the region, all that kind of stuff, but it's still important to finish as high as you can in the district.
I think so, and just for your confidence. You don't want to go losing to teams, getting blown out, and then now you got that doubt in your mind when you get to tournament play. You want to be able to go in and say, yeah, we either beat them or we lost, but it was a close competitive game. So it's very important for your mental and for your psyche going forward.
So when you think about the last couple weeks, because they have been a little bit larger in the margin of defeat with Stewart's Creek and Blackman, a little bit of fire in the bellies of your kids over that, you think?
I think so. I think they're going to be ready to go. We had a good talk last night after the game, and guys talked about some things that we need to work on, not just basketball-wise, but just from a maturity standpoint. So I think we're going to see a different team going forward.
Because that's Omar Smith with the Smyrna Bulldogs. If you want to see a real barn burner, you go over at Friday night. Smyrna or Laverne at Smyrna this Friday night. Girls game tips at 6. Coach, we certainly appreciate your time, and we do absolutely wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car, professional auto repair and maintenance from ASC certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com.
It takes all of us to power a community, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name, but there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
True Blue Raider fans don't settle for just any gear. They shop at Raider Tees, specializing in Middle Tennessee apparel and accessories. No distractions, just pure Blue Raider pride. From t-shirts and hoodies to decals, stadium chairs, and exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. We've got it all. Stop by 111 East MTCS Road right across from MTCS and gear up today. Raider Tees, bigger, better, and go blue.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, WGNSsports.com, and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Everybody's happy to have their electricity today, I'm sure. Online at mte.com. And I'm happy because I got an electric guy on the other side of the line here. That's Blackman Blaze head basketball coach Barry Wortman. Coach Wortman, how are you this morning?
I'm good, Danny. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, we're always happy to have a winner like Barry Wortman on the line, which we're going to talk about winners a little bit later on here. But first, I want to talk about last night's game. Big win for the Blaze over a talented Smyrna team at your house. Talk a little bit about that game.
Well, I tell you, I've just graded the tape this morning, and I've been so pleased. We've become a really good defensive team. That's sort of been the staple of our program, and we are I'm so pleased with how we're guarding in transition, guarding in the half court, and we're really beginning to check out and box out much better and finish possessions with rebounds. So we're just so pleased with how we're playing defensively, and we just got to continue to try to get better offensively. If we have our moments where we're really good, but I'm challenging our guys to be elite. I've been very demanding on them since Christmas. And so we just got to continue to try to get better offensively. And in some ways, we have our moments where we're really good, and we have some moments where we waste some possessions or our decision-making needs to be better. But we're continuing to try to get better, Danny, and I really like how our guys are approaching everything and trying to be good and really embracing wanting to be good and embracing coaching. So I appreciate that from the fellas.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about a coaching moment that I was there last night. Smyrna just got an easy bucket. They go up 10-5, okay? You call time. It's a come-to-Jesus timeout you called. You were a little hot under the collar because they're giving up easy shots, and that's uncharacteristic of your team. So it's 10-5. You call the come-to-Jesus timeout. From there until midway point of the fourth quarter, you outscore them, I think, 43-18. So you really turned up. You got in some boys behinds, and man, they turned it up defensively because you completely shut Smyrna down.
Well, our guys are real prideful. Probably had very little to do with the timeout in regards to more of our guys are a really good team. They responded. You can't do that too much. We've done it 3 times, halftime against Lipscomb. We really challenged them. And then in two games and last night, and I just know that we didn't want to make any excuses. A lot of teams are out of rhythm. We missed a lot of easy balls around the goal, missed our first 5 balls around the goal, and then had a breakdown on a jump switch. And that's just not a veteran team with veteran guys that have been in the program. You expect more of them. They expect more of themselves. I just think with our group of guys, they can respond to that on occasion, and I thought that was not playing to a standard. They needed to address it, and they did. So I appreciate the fellas' response to a little bit of a challenging timeout.
So let's talk a little bit about your offense. It was pretty good last night, and the reason why I think it was pretty good because you've been you got some very good post players. Jalen McDonald has been really good. Smyrna held him to 9 points last night, but you still won by 18 because you had some other guys really stepping up. Talk a little bit about other guys sharing the wealth last night.
Yeah, we had some good. We got to be more complete in our possessions offensively. That's probably been the Achilles heel of our team. But last night we really played through Jalen. I think if you look at his stat line, you'd be like, well, wasn't one of his better nights. Actually, very similar to Lipscomb. When people try to really heavy help or come with weak side doubles or ball side doubles, he's just so poised. I think he had 9 assists out of the post, and we just got a bunch of easy, when I say easy, or at least rhythm threes, wide open shots for guys. And really, it was a post assist out of Jalen from the heavy help. So he reads that, whether it's the skip off the opposite side or the bully move to the weak side corner skip, or just right back out same side. We can go chase it and pick and pop. So he's been really good. Just understands where doubles come from. Very patient, and then he takes it. And then if you have to stay at home, then he's really good at scoring the ball around the goal too. So I was really pleased. We got ball reversal, put it on our best player, and he made the right play for himself and for others last night.
You know, that's part of being a good post player is understanding when to kick it out, because he's a guy that he's got a big body and he understands how to use it. But agree with me that that's part of being a big post player is knowing when to give it up and getting those guys those rhythm threes.
I mean, he just reads it extremely well. So pleased with his poise and his purpose. So again, I agree with you. He was really good last night.
Talk a little bit about your guard play, Coach, because, you know, you handle the ball pretty good. You know, Smyrna's long. They're very athletic. They get after you. But your guard play was good, and you didn't have a lot of turnovers.
No, played that game with 7 turnovers the first time we played with them. And then 11 last night. A few of those turnovers were dead ball turnovers. One was a charge, and one was an offensive rebound travel. So I was really pleased, for the most part, how he handled the ball. You know, Braden Flowers, we just had a little article on him in the D&J, and he's really did a nice job of transitioning to the point and running our team. And Mike Bass has worked so hard in practice. He's such a good guard and having such a great year. But it's just he can blow out with it in transition. But really initiating offense, people think that looks easy, but we've been, you know, Braden and Mike Bass have both gotten a crab dribble and a low dribble. We try to initiate offense, especially on dead balls, to get the run action, and it takes poise from the point, poise from your guards to initiate offense. So both of those guys are doing a really nice job, and it's hard to do. And both of them are doing a nice job and making progress. And when they don't, our team struggles. So I'm pleased with that. And then you know, Caden Avant last night, I don't know. I mean, he just rebounds. He's a great rebound down guard. He makes all the right decisions. So I was so pleased with his play. And then, you know, Dorian Lyles is sort of we call him a 6. You know, he plays every position for us, and a little bit in the shooting slump right now. And I keep talking to him about not letting the ball not going in right now affect your play. He's a great offensive rebounder, good defensive rebounder. He makes a lot of physical plays for us. So when he gets it going again, like he was early in the season, I think we're going to do nothing but make another big jump offensively down the stretch.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the rebounding, Coach. I don't know what the stats were last night, but you guys did a really good job on the boards. You block out. You're very fundamental. You know, a lot of kids these days don't understand how to block out. They just want to jump over somebody. But last night you did a great job on the boards, limiting Smyrna. There were very few times as the game progressed that they got 2 shots, and you guys got several opportunities at the goal because you were hitting the boards.
And we put such a premium on finishing possessions with blockouts and rebounding down, and you know it's really fun to watch. On our tape, Braden tape, my guys are sticking guys. Dorian Lyles, when he first started playing, he would run as the shot was taken, and so would Braylon Bailey, and they're both now sticking guys, holding blockouts and rebounding down. Keller Jackson's really good at that. So we create space and able to rebound down, and now we're making more guys are blowing out with it. You know, we've been so fortunate with Braden Flowers to make the right decision in transition, but we're giving some other guys some opportunities to play in transition if they can rebound it, which creates more opportunities in transition. So all that comes together to make you a better basketball team. But you're right. I'm so pleased on the defensive end and finishing possessions, rebounds, and then you got a chance to be in every game, regardless of how you play offensively, and that pleases us. Okay, Coach. Well, let's talk a little bit about. We would be remiss if we did not mention Thoroughbred Racing, because we both love that game as well. Today is the Holy Bull Stakes at Gulfstream Park. Big Kentucky Derby prep. You know, it's even bigger now because Ted Noffey, who's been the slam dunk early favorite for the Kentucky Derby, is out with injury. So the Holy Bull, there's a lot more emphasis on this. I think you like a little bit of a long shot. Give me your pick on the Holy Bull today. I do. I love Gulfstream Park. I was looking at it a little bit yesterday, Danny, thinking you might ask me about this. And you know me, I like long shots. And I like Roger that Dana today. I think we had an opportunity to get out and go early and hold off the field and make some noise today. Roger that. Hey, love it. Okay, so my pick, my long shot pick in this race is also another horse. I'm going to tie into Blackman basketball. It's Project Ace, trained by my buddy Dale Romans. He's 20-1 on the morning line. He's got 1 win, 1 second, and 1/3, and 3 lifetime starts. Won his last start at Churchill. He's a son of War of Will, which is very important when you think about basketball and trying to get better. But he's a big closer. He's a big-time closer. He comes with 1 run late. Now is a time of year when you want your team to be
closing. You did a good job last night of closing out games. Talk about the importance of understanding how to close out basketball games when it gets this time of year.
It's so important. That's been I feel like a strength of our team. We do a lot of special situations in practice. Guys need to understand time and score in special situations and why people are pressing you. Don't let the press create plays that you wouldn't normally take, especially in lead protection. Handling, knowing that you got 12 seconds to hold the ball without a 5-second count. If you can go 4, 4, and 4, knowing if you got timeouts or not. TJ Irvine is doing much a better job. He's such a good ball pressure. Now he's starting to understand. Okay, there's 2 team fouls, or now there's 4 team fouls. We're going to put it at the foul line. So all those mental things you do to close out games are so important. And you got to talk about it. You got to work at it, and guys have got to be able to get it to the game. And I think our guys are making nice progress in that. It's been something we always value, and hopefully we can do that down the stretch because you need that in tournament basketball.
So today you go a makeup game. You go to Riverdale, a big rivalry game there, the old backyard brawl on the hardwood there. What else you got coming up this week, Coach, besides the trip to Riverdale today?
Well, obviously the makeup game with Riverdale today. Trying to hold serve, go on the road. Second time you play people, and then the third is always so much tougher. And so I'm singly focused on that. Well, you asked me, Danny, I believe Siegel on Tuesday, Stewart's Creek on Friday, but don't hold me to that, man. I'm pretty singly focused, but that's what I'm pretty sure that's what we got as we move forward.
Well, Coach, playing them one game at a time is what you got to do. I mean, so and we'll get a little action on that, because if we hit that Roger, that Dana, Project Ace, Exacta, both of them at 20-1, I think we're going to have a nice payday there, Coach.
In my Danny Brewer voice, got a hunch, bet a bunch. That's what we're going to do today.
That's right. Back a horse and get paid. Appreciate your time, Coach Wortman. Wish you the best of luck.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to the First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgage services.
In Rutherford County, we need a sheriff who leads from the front, not from behind the desk. That's Kenneth Barrett, out on calls, side by side with deputies, tackling the tough stuff every shift. He's the working man's leader, supervising with sharp eyes, serving with steady hands, keeping our families safe. Born here, raised here, he's ready to protect here.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff, and I would appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, Treasurer Jam Stewart.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
Since 1989, Franklin's Printworks has been Rutherford County's trusted print partner, delivering high-quality, fast turnaround printing for businesses, organizations, and individuals.
Letterhead, envelopes, business cards, brochures, booklets, all that is still our bread and butter. We do it every day.
Jeff Carlton with Franklin's Printworks.
The needs have evolved for most businesses, and they're looking for a large format capability, or they're looking for a direct mail capability. We're glad to help with those.
Franklin's Printworks, your local printing experts.
Sports. Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
Back here on the Coach's Show, brought to you by the law offices of John Day. They've helped thousands of people get legal help when they've needed it the most. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day. We're talking Laverne boys basketball this morning. Michael Greenwood joins us. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are we?
Doing good. You survived the snow apocalypse or ice apocalypse or whatnot?
Yeah. We survived it. Honestly, probably my guys probably needed it. We were a little banged up the last week before the ice apocalypse.
Yeah.
So we kind of needed it.
Well, I know that the Laverne, Smyrna area and really out just toward where the Williamson County line is, that's an area that got a little more ice than I think other places. But all the kids and stuff seem to get through all of that okay, and power outages and stuff. Yeah,
everybody's safe. They were just bored. I've been, kind of talking with the guys. They a little cabin fever going on. All of a sudden, PlayStation has gotten old and boring. So, thank God for that.
Boy, if this has happened, when we were kids, and there's no telling what, right?
Yeah, it'd have been tough to keep us in the house, especially me. I'm a northern guy, Cleveland, Ohio, so we were out in the snow. So that snow didn't keep us in the house too often, but that ice is another type of danger. So.
It really is. Ice is something else. So, but I guess when, we've got a dusting, you just roll your eyes and say, what are we doing here?
There you go.
But, to get things cleaned up at school and ice off the sidewalks, I mean, there's so much that you have to think about. It's not just getting there, but it's parking there, walking to class there, all that thing.
Absolutely, because I actually went up to the school, I want to say it was like Tuesday or Wednesday, and some of the parking lot was clear, but then when I walked and took my path that I normally take to go to the gym, the little back entrance or whatever, like it was plenty of ice. Like you could skate on it. And so, a lot of times kids have to walk through there to go out to their trailer class or whatever. And so, yeah, it was still dangerous. And Laverne very much so sits on a hill.
It does, yeah.
And so, yeah, you put some cars there and they get to slide, and by lunchtime you'll have a pile up. So
I know that back entrance that you're talking about because we did tournaments there forever ago, but park back there in the back and walk up those back steps, and there's a lot of shade back there, and that's kind of on a little bit of a slope too.
Yes. It was there was a fallen tree back there when I went back there. It's gotten up since then, but yeah. So there was definitely, because at first, like my neighborhood and the main streets were clear. And I'm kind of like, what's the issue? But then, like I said, when I walked around the actual school property, I was like, oh, okay, I see the problems.
Mm-hmm. I guess as a coach too, not only it's not a bad thing. You said this kind of helps get some of your kids maybe those bumps and bruises and whatnot. But there's also that fine line of, not sitting around eating 3 bags of Doritos and playing games and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I think a little bit of that happened. We got in the gym yesterday, and I said, man, how we get this out of shape in 1 week? You know what I mean? So one kid was like, yeah, we got too much food in our refrigerator. I said, well, it's a good problem, I guess. But, and I try to send a message out to the guys to say, hey, let's all do some push-ups and some jumping jacks or something to stay active. I don't know how many of them actually did it. One of them said, yeah, I'm going to do push-ups in between games that I play, because he was definitely on the game. So, I believe he did it, but how many of the other guys did it, I don't know.
And that's just what you don't know during those things. And, there was question about Are we going to get to play, not play? I think your game from Friday was pushed to today.
Yeah, no, we will be playing Monday.
Monday, that's all right.
We'll be playing Monday. We'll be at Stewart's Creek on Monday.
Okay. I think the word came down that, we can practice on Thursday even though school was out, and then I don't think anybody would have attempted to play a game without practicing on Thursday.
Right. So we could practice, but even then it's kind of like a only get here if you can kind of situation, because a lot of times you got kids driving, so it's hard for us adults who've had 20, 30 years of experience to do it. You don't want a bunch of 16, 17-year-olds out there trying to figure out the ice.
That's a great point.
So you got to be kind of lenient on the arrival times because, again, they're kids. So they don't know, like, hey, I probably need to leave an extra 20, 30 minutes early because traffic or ice or, I might have to take an alternative route, things of that nature. So, we got in the gym. We got some shots up. We got to stretch our legs and run a little bit. But it was definitely not the typical intensity of our regular practice.
Yeah, so you're going to 7, 9, it's going to be like 10 days when you play. Since the last time you played, somewhere 9, 10 days, right?
Yeah, so we haven't played since last Friday. So, it'll be 10 days, and we've rescheduled 2 games for next week and the following week. So we'll have like 6 games in the upcoming 12 days.
Wow. Yeah. Because you've got Stewart's Creek Monday, and you're on the road for this whole week too.
Yes. Go to Stewart's Creek, go to Riverdale, go to Smyrna.
And you got 2 of your biggest rivals there too.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. You know what I mean? I'm really loving this rivalry energy. I really am. We played everybody, of course, played their out-of-conference games, and you're traveling, you're going to this place and that place. And all of those places had great fan bases. But, when that rivalry is in town, and, because a lot of times it's kids that you grew up with, and you just move 3-4 streets over, and then you're in a whole new school district. You know what I mean? And so the guys are just excited to be like, I've been playing against him since 4th grade, 7th grade, whatever. They might have even been middle school teammates at one point.
Well, so I think that Smyrna's biggest rival forever was Laverne. Laverne's biggest rival is Smyrna, but Smyrna also has Stewart's Creek, and Stewart's Creek's fairly close as well. But, the last time you played, you gave your closest rival, being Smyrna, a scare, and you get them this week on the road.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the Stewart's Creek, and I'm looking forward to all of the games, but the Stewart's Creek and Smyrna games specifically this week, just because, of course, they're district games. They're closer in location, like those things matter. But those are 2 games where I felt like my guys gave a great effort and just had some stumbling blocks. Of course, the Smyrna game was one that went to overtime that we really felt like if we did 1 or 2 things the right way, we win. The Stewart's Creek game, up until the start of the 4th quarter, it was close. And then, I don't know what happened with us mentally and emotionally going into that 4th quarter, but we just shut down for about 4 minutes. And so it got ugly at the end. But for 3 quarters, it was a game. You know what I mean? And so I'm looking forward to getting back to both of those games. I'm looking forward to seeing if we could put 4 good quarters together against Stewart's Creek, seeing if it was more of them or more of us.
And Michael Greenwood with us, Laverne boys basketball coach. Things usually after you play a team once, the second game, things tighten, things can change, and then when you start tournaments, you may play them another time or 2, and you can always see that if you've got close games, those close games get even closer and closer and upsets, and that's what makes tournament basketball so much fun. Working toward that, from where you started in November to this point, there's been a tremendous amount of growth in your young team.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's been a tremendous amount of growth. I'm super, super proud of those guys for sticking through it because it's not hard. It's not easy to go through the season that we've gone through and keep playing. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much easier to throw the towel in. And so I'm super proud of those guys for sticking through it. We have gotten better. I think we've learned the game of basketball a lot better since November. And now it's just to a point of creating in-game consistency. Again, do it for the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and if needed, overtime. You know what I mean? Like, just keep going, keep chopping at it. Sometimes when you're young, you think with one big whack, I could just knock this tree down. It's like, nah, you better off taking a bunch of medium whacks, and then you'll get it down that way. Pace yourself.
Yeah. And this is the first time I think I've had the chance to catch up with you, and I heard you guys in the lobby talking about JV and this, and I mean, when you're the varsity head coach, you're not only the varsity head coach, but you've got your hands on the whole program.
Yes, sir.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It is. It's a lot. It can be overwhelming if you don't schedule things right, if you don't, if you're not in tune with your coaches. And that's another thing that we've improved on. New coaching staff kind of coming together, where we were kind of playing with it in the beginning, and now we're kind of like, all right, we know you go here, I go there, that we're gonna do it. You know what I mean? So now it's more of a fluid operation overall. And the JV team, they're struggling with the same thing that my varsity is struggling with. They're young. Our JV is majority freshmen. I took all of the sophomores with me. And so now we got a bunch of freshmen playing against sophomores and juniors, where, our sophomores are playing against juniors and seniors. And so they're going through their lumps and bruises, but I see a tremendous improvement out of those guys as well.
It's a lot like, a development league or whatnot. But for those guys to have that opportunity, I think it hasn't always been a thing, number one, but I think it's really a great thing to give them a chance to perform on the court, and they get all the things that varsity does. So, I mean, when you think of Laverne basketball, there's probably something just about every day. Yeah.
There's always something going on. We try to keep the guys busy. Some days it's drill days where we're just working on ball handling or shooting form or things of that nature. And then there's other days where we're trying to teach, not so much teach a play, but we're at a point where we have to learn how to run a play. So a screen is a screen, but do we know what to read and how to read, the actions off of that screen?
Well, this next week, Monday at Stewart's Creek, then Tuesday at Riverdale, then Friday at Smyrna, then the next Tuesday you've got Oakland on the road, and then you finally get to come back home. But going to be Road Warriors here coming up.
Yes.
And chances to see the Laverne Wolverines here in the coming week. Coach, appreciate you coming in this morning. It's been fun talking to you.
It's been a pleasure. I always enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Michael Greenwood, the head coach of the Laverne Wolverines this morning. And this Coach's Show segment brought to you by SRM Concrete, the largest ready-mix producer in the country, yet still family-owned and operated. Locally grown, nationally known, SRM delivers unmatched quality and service. SRM Concrete, you call, we haul. Hey, Rutherford County sports fans, from auto, home, renters, business insurance, and more, trust your local State Farm agents. Celeste Middleton, Rod Reeves, Emerson Williams, Alex Williams, Dana Womack, and Andy Womack. This powerful team lives here, works here, and are your neighbors. They're ready to help you manage everyday risk, recover from the unexpected, and realize your dreams. Contact Celeste, Ron, Emerson, Alex, Dana, or Andy for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Winning move. I'm State Farm Agent Ron Reeves, here to help life go right by combining your home and auto insurance. Call me at 615-873-1700. It's a winning move that saves you time and money.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose. You do anything to protect your kids. I'm State Farm Agent Emerson Williams, and it's important to protect them with life insurance. I can make it easy and affordable for you to protect your family.
Rutherford County, this is Lakin with First Mortgage, a department of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. Just like our student athletes work hard on the field and court, I work hard for you. making home loans simple, smooth, and stress-free. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or building your dream home, I'll guide you every step of the way. I'm proud to cheer on our hometown teams, and I'd be honored to cheer you on as you reach your home goals. Call me, Lakin at First Mortgage. Let's get you home.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NLMS 401715.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSsports.com and Big G TV.
We're back here on the Coach's Show, brought to you by JHA Company. That's Josh Houston and Associates. Jewelry, letter jackets, yearbooks, graduation products, photography, and more. JHAcompany.com. One of the local sponsors that all the sponsors you hear help us bring this Coach's Show to you, and we've been doing it since 1993. And I don't want to say how old I was in 1993, but Coach Rutland, I guess you were bouncing a basketball somewhere at that time.
I actually, senior year, we're going into my senior year maybe.
Is that right?
Yeah, high school, yeah.
Wow. So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
But last night it was the Battle of the Borough Part 2. Part 1 did not necessarily go your way, but the script kind of flipped, and last night got a win 63-40 over Riverdale.
Yes. Surprisingly enough, I mean, normally when you come off breaks, you don't know how your guys are gonna shoot the ball. We played really well. I was more worried because, even though our record doesn't show, but the last couple of games we've been playing really well, and I didn't want that streak to kind of like break us, just not being in the gym and stuff. But our guys really kept apart. We kept going, and the biggest thing is coming together defensively. One of my biggest saying is don't be selfish on defense. A lot of kids today will say, well, my man didn't score, or my man didn't do this, or my man. Well, if we lose and that team scores a lot more points than us, well, yeah, that's your man, and so we've been trying to catch it defensively, and that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest adjustment that I had to come and make at our school is the defensive end. I know we can score, I know we can shoot, but we have to be able to stop people in order for us to be successful in postseason or whatever it is in the tournament. We got to play defense.
Yeah. Sometimes a break like this and you get a little momentum and you just don't know how that's going to affect the game right before. It was Rockvale, yes. And it was 5-point loss to Rockvale, the team that's leading the district right now. Right. And so that shows a lot of growth from I was talking with Michael about November, right. From November to now.
Yeah. and it's crazy because with this weather, I've had a couple of guys, we haven't been 100% healthy, whether it's a bug that's going around, people are getting sick. So I'm really proud of our young guys, and this is really going to be a good test for them and our future. The future is bright. I have a lot of sophomores, freshmen, juniors that are playing and stepping up, and this is what I want them to do, is just get the experience for next year or the years to come. But at the end of the day, you never know. Like last night, we had a couple of sophomores step in, and we end up winning. And I was missing one of my seniors, Josiah Cobb. He had a stomach bug or a flu or whatever. But, for us to play really well defensively and offensively without one of our main guys was really key.
Want to talk about one of those as our SRM Concrete solid performer, Malik Sanders, 21 for you last night. Those were big points.
Yeah, and, he's my guy, and I'm going to stay hard on him. It seems like he's growing inches every day, but I want him to be really elite, and I'm going to push him to be real elite. The last couple of games, he had 21 against Rockville and 21 against Riverdale, but I push him to get more rebounds, or get some more stops on defense, and that has led him to get easier shots, whether it's on the offensive boards.
Surveying the field, what's going on there on the court.
Yes.
Surveying the field, what's going on there on the court.
Yes.
All of that.
It's just like the quarterback. We have a game plan, and I need him to understand it. And, he's like an Energizer bunny. He's just going to run around everywhere. Even if he makes some mistakes, he's going to try to go get it back. And that's what you want from your point guard. You're the coach on the court. He's starting to be more vocal. He's not used to that, and, I think it'll come. A lot of our guys are still young, so being a vocal leader is new to them. And I don't want to yell all the time, but, it's starting to come.
I wonder, as a coach, when you're trying to control the pace of the game at some times, and maybe other times you want to jump into your press and, try to create turnovers and things like that. Players just want to go 100 miles an hour all the time, and it's hard to win games like that, isn't it?
It is, and that's one of our problems. I always say pay attention to details. When we don't pay attention to details, we get hurt 10 to 15 points a game. And if you look at our record and we lose by less than 15 points, you take away those details. On defense, it really started the Blackman game. We held them to under maybe 43% in shooting from the field that game. We had a chance. And I told them it's like one or two things. They made like 2 or 3 threes back to back. That's 6 points we lose. So it was just more of closeouts and stuff like that. But I think we did a great job against them. I think we out-rebounded them, which is really big considering how big they are, how physical they are. And then you turn around with Rockville, and, our defense was really, really good for me because they're an up-tempo team. Yeah. And we held them to a lower scoring game for them, which gave us a chance to compete, and maybe it was we turned the ball back over, or we missed a layup here and there, or we gave up easy layups do our defense. So, the guys are getting in game. The first time we allowed one of the brothers to hit, I believe, 5 or 6 threes, and we only held them to 2 threes. And, so we did a really good job defensively, and it's given us a chance to win. And that's what I'm really more proud of our guys is they're buying in on the defensive end. I
just went back and looked at Rockville because they've won 102 to 75 in a game this year, but 65, 70, 81, 79, 87, and the score in your game was 37-26. So that's the prime example of that. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard for kids who want to go 100 miles an hour to appreciate the defensive side of the ball and what that can create for you in terms of points and offensively.
Yeah, and when you get stops, our best offense is your defense too. When you have the possession, if you're going 100 miles per hour and you're just throwing the ball up, you're giving them an opportunity to score on offense. If we can make them play defense as well and we can score, we don't have to take a shot on the first pass. We just want the teams to play defense where next thing you know, they sleep on one play and then we'll get a layup or we'll get a wide open shot. So it's depleting for a team to play defense for like 30 seconds and then all of a sudden you give up an easy layup. But when a team like Rockville, who was like Golden State back in the days, they get out, they get steals and they go, you want them to play a little defense, and then the offensive end, their legs might not be there towards the end where they're missing shots they normally make. So my guys, they're really playing well. All credit to them, and I'm really proud of the younger guys as well because they're stepping up, and this is what we've been waiting for. We're taking our bumps and bruises as we should, but I think the future is really bright, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of weeks.
I think these next couple of weeks could be where we see you carry some momentum into the postseason too, and you play the regular season to get the best seed possible for the tournament, but these next 2 weeks are going to be pretty important for you.
They are. If we could stay healthy, I think we got that health bug out, but if we could stay
that's a week.
And it's going to be good.
That's a week.
And it's going to be good because it gives us momentum going into tournaments. The good thing about basketball, you don't get to dwell on losses and you play right away and make adjustments. So I think we'll be fine.
Tony, appreciate you coming in this morning.
Appreciate you.
Congrats on the win, and looking forward to seeing you on Friday night.
I appreciate it.
It's Tony Rutland, the head coach of the Oakland boys basketball team, here on the Coaches Show, which is brought to you by, Rick Hall, Rayburn Insurance agent in Smyrna. Give Rick a call for auto, home, business, and life insurance needs. Find out more about him and Rayburn Insurance at rayburn.net.
Love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big GTV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big GTV, where radio comes to life.
This is a paid legal ad.
I'm attorney John Day. My wife Joy and I love dogs and have one of our own. But we've also helped people who have been injured by dog bites and dog attacks, as well as bicyclists who crashed after a dog attack. You need to know that the dog owner may have insurance to help pay medical bills and other expenses because of a dog attack. If your loved one has been injured by a dog, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
Whether you have a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply has premium feeds and dog foods you can't find in box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Plus, every Saturday morning they have a local producer-only farmers market with fresh vegetables, beef, pork, and more.
Customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
With all the financial headlines, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
We're back here on the Coaches Show, which is brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a complete, tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. Talking Stewart's Creek boys basketball this morning. Adam Jones joining us here today. Coach, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Brian. How are you doing?
Doing good. Icy, nasty, cold week, and here we are, and you haven't played a game all week, I think, right?
We have not. No, we have been off over a week. We decided kind of just for safety purposes to go ahead and not play Friday, and we moved it to this upcoming Monday. That way let the ice clear out front, all that sort of fun stuff.
Yeah, I know that the Smyrna, Laverne area and over toward Williamson County where we kind of border, that area had more ice than anywhere else and a little more damage up that way too.
Yeah, it really did. We still had some trees down and, kind of where our main gym entrance is, we don't get much sun there. So, I mean, there was just a sheet of ice, even though our custodial crew did a good job trying to clear it. We just decided it'd be safer for everybody to just kind of go ahead and push it towards Monday. But give us a tough week coming up, and we haven't played for a while. But, I mean, we've at least been able to get in practice, so the kids have at least touched the ball a little bit. So we'll just see how it goes Monday. You never know.
Yeah, well, I guess Thursday was the first day you could get back into the gym at all, and so that was several days off if you count the weekend. And how did you communicate with your guys what to do? I mean, I talked this morning. I said 3 bags of Doritos and PlayStation probably isn't the conditioning that you want to do.
It's probably not, and we're starting to play well, so our kids are dialed in, and they want to be ready to go. But still, it's tough to, especially when it's icy and freezing outside. There's only so much you can do. We communicated, do some sort of workout, exercise, all that sort of stuff. But, there's no way to monitor that. But, it's been the longest break all year, so we came back Thursday, and we really didn't do much of anything, but just kind of play and not stop very much so we can just get up and down and get our conditioning and our legs back under us.
Yeah. Did you, with no game on Friday, did you get in the gym on Friday too, or how did that work out yesterday?
We did, yeah. We practiced. It was more of a normal practice. Now the end, last 20 or 25 minutes or so, we just kind of, not real conditioning, but we played to condition. We kind of just got up and down. We didn't blow the whistle much. Just kind of playing ourselves back into shape. But more of a legit practice, and then giving them off today, and then we'll come back in the gym Sunday, and then we got, a full week ahead of us.
Yeah, and you put JV on top of that and trying to juggle all of these schedules and rescheduling. I mean, it's a nightmare when we get something like this for a coach, isn't it?
It has been tough, and some teams are, they'll be caught up after today. I think we got some games today that they're making up for Tuesday, and a lot of teams did play yesterday. We're one of the few that did not. But it just kind of is what it is. And we got to figure it out as we move forward. And hopefully we can make up our Tuesday game that we missed against Rockville sometime later this year, which might be the last week of the season. But we'll have to figure that out. But, yeah, it's not the most fun this time.
Yeah. Well, and you guys have been kind of on a roll, won 4 of your last 5, and we're in that Blackman game as well. So, something like this, you hope it doesn't kind of break momentum. Yeah, we were playing really well. And we've got a group that I don't think it will. We've had 2 decent days of practice, even after being off for a long period of time. And I think we got a mature group we'll hit the floor and kind of pick up where we left off. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just, a little bit of the conditioning. That's all I'm kind of worried about. But we'll be able to handle that, and I trust our kids. Well, Adam Jones with us this morning talking Stewart's Creek boys basketball here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Last game out was with your rival Smyrna and 78-58 win there. And SRM Concrete solid performer from that game, Sean Goggins, 21 points for you that night.
Yeah. Collectively, the whole group played pretty well, but obviously Sean led the way points-wise. But, we had London Nelson had a great game. Jerry Taylor played great defense at the points. Dalen Stegall. It was just kind of a chip in from everybody. And, those games, it was at home. The atmosphere was awesome. Kind of the kids knew we were going to be off for a little bit, so they left everything out there. And, but we had a great time. We played well, and hopefully we can get them again at their place when their atmosphere is going to be just as good. Yeah, that was one game that we had on the schedule since early on and was really looking forward to coming. And then with MTSU rescheduling because of Saturday games needing to be moved back and all, unfortunately weren't able to get there to broadcast that game. But the atmosphere in the Stewart's Creek Smyrna games is just a notch above, it seems. It is. I mean, obviously our kids look forward to it. I look forward to it. We both got two pretty good teams, and whoever shows up is probably going to get the win. And but our crowd, our students, their students travel. Our students will travel when we go there. I mean, it's a fun atmosphere for the kids, and it's tough to win on the road in that game for sure.
Also, in that game, Landon Nelson had double figures for you. Stegall, Taylor, they were in double figures. So I think you had, 4 players score 10 or more?
Yeah, we did. Like I was saying, I mean, it was a good group effort. And not only offensively, we asked certain guys to, not really score as much. I'll use Jerry Taylor as an example. So when he can have 10, that's really good for us. He's more of a sit-down, guard the best player type guy. But, yeah, collectively it was great, and we need that moving forward with more guys helping us. But, we don't ask some guys to score a ton, but if they can figure it out, then we're even better and tougher to beat.
We are so close. I don't know if guys – teenagers really kind of understand this, but as a coach, you probably have the season kind of broken down into sections, and we're getting into that section, which is going to determine your postseason, where you start things and matchups and all of that kind of thing. I mean, some really important games in the next, 2.5 weeks here.
Yeah, there are, and and we're going to play a lot of games every week.
Yeah.
Maybe next 2 weeks we might have 3 games. But we kind of talk before district and region starts. I mean, only with 4 teams, it's the games are very important because you don't have a lot of games to make back. If you lose one, you gotta go out and win some more because district doesn't last very long. It's quick, it's over fast, and the records are the records, but. We kind of broke it down as district and region. We're almost combining it. We want to be the top of both. Obviously, the district matters first and foremost for the tournament, but our kids want to win the region game just as much as district, and we kind of, every game's just as important as the next.
Well, just to kind of show you the difference, you played Blackman on January 16th. You're going to turn around and play them again here this coming week, and so it is kind of condensed, but when you look at that, and there are so few district games, and that's going to determine your seeding, and then that seeding is going to determine what happens in the region. I mean, it's all it does seem to be more amplified, those district games especially.
Yeah, definitely, and luckily, we haven't got off to a bad start, but if you get off to a bad start and get into an 0-2 hole or something like that, and it's, your seeding almost is what it is, we'll know a lot by the end of next week. It might be almost set by the end of next week with still, a couple weeks to play, which that's kind of the strange thing, and that's kind of why we're preaching to the kids. I mean, the region games matter too. One, we need to see the teams. We need to be confident we can beat them when the region tournament comes around. But also because district can be over when we still have a whole week of games left, if that makes sense. So, we still got to buckle down and play and make every game important.
That's what's going to be really weird about the region tournament. I mean, I've been doing this since 1994, and this is the first time that everybody will have played everyone in the region at some point in the regular season, sometimes maybe twice. And it's going to be all Rutherford County. There's no question it mathematically can't happen that you don't have 2 teams, 2 girls, 2 boys teams going into the sectional round, the Sweet 16, if you will. It's just it's different. So
it's a bit bizarre. I mean, obviously we need to play each other because we got to fill our schedules out.
Right.
But, it's almost like back in the day a few years ago where it's almost just one big district. I mean, even though it's not, but it's different for sure.
Well, and I think it's great because, you've got rivalries with Rutherford County. You're going to have better gates and all, and I think it's just worked out great. But what we can't have is any more school closings for ice and snow or whatever because, you've got 3 games the next 2 weeks. I mean, it's going to be busy. Yes,
we cannot. And if that boils it down, then obviously no one has to come to the game, but we're not going to take so much safety protocol. We're going to play the game, so we don't have to make it up anymore. But, yeah, hopefully, knock on wood, we get all that done and get through this weather, and then, we can start focusing on district tournament seeding and region tournament, stuff like that. Get to some warmer days.
Big week for Stewart's Creek this week. Monday hosting Laverne, then at Oakland and at Blackman on Tuesday and Friday, respectfully. And, Coach, appreciate you being on this morning. Good luck in this week coming up. It's a big one for the Redhawks.
It is. Thank you very much, Brian. We'll
Absolutely.
be ready to go.
Sounds good. That is Adam Jones joining us here on the Coaches Show, which is brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
At Maples Realty and Auction, we handle traditional sales, auctions, and property management. And we have a development called The Maples with local builders and amenities. I'm Betsy Maples, and this is our team. It's our people. That's the difference. Call us today and let us help you get your property sold.
I refer a lot of clients to Maples Realty when we have real estate issues that are coming up. Working with Maples has been easy for me, easy for my clients.
Put our 57 years of success to work for you.
Life's too short to stress about insurance. That's why Ray Call at Rayburn Insurance is here to make sure you have the right coverage without all the hassle. He'll work hard to provide you with personalized service and finding the best solutions for you and your family. Whether you're looking for auto, home, or business insurance, Rick Hall's got you covered. Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. Let him handle the details so you can focus on what really matters.
Since 1938, J. Mullins Jewelry has been Murfreesboro's trusted family-owned jeweler, helping you celebrate life's biggest moments with breathtaking diamonds, custom designs, and expert craftsmanship. From our first sparkle to redesigning Grandma's heirloom, we'll handle it all with care, quality, and honest prices big stores simply can't match. Expert repairs, one-of-a-kind creations, and service that feels like home at J. Mullins Jewelry, 1640 Memorial Boulevard in Murfreesboro, and mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
We are back here on the Coaches Show, which is brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more about their work at craigstaxservice.com. It's that time of the year. And you know when it's that time of the year, it's also basketball's hot and heavy, unless there's an ice storm, Wendell Ingram.
Yeah. And it's cold out there today.
Yeah. Did you build a snowman?
No, but I started to cancel Saturday. I was like, man, let's go back and try it again and just go straight to Monday or something.
It's been something else, this cold weather especially, but there's not a whole lot you can do with ice. I think if we had snow, we could have been back in school maybe Thursday and Friday, but not this time.
Yeah, this one got us this time, but I guess we're lucky because I think in like West Tennessee, I think they got a lot of snow and ice and power outages and things like that. So I'm not gonna say thank God we're not them, but I don't want nobody to go through that. But
right,
man, but it's rough.
Well, we were definitely fortunate in considering other areas in the state, and still without power. Just up the road in Davidson County, Laverne even has a lot of power problems up there, but did get to, despite not being in school, I think allowing practice on Thursday made for the ability to play Friday. I don't think anybody would have played if you couldn't practice Thursday.
That was pretty much the vote. Everybody was like, hey, for us to play Friday, we needed to get in the gym on Thursday. And we was lucky enough for them to allow us to, like I said, the county did great getting those walkways cleared. Our custodial guys, man, they did great. It looks good up there right now. But if we couldn't get in there on Thursday, we had made up our mind that, hey, Friday was not going to be a go.
Coming in, winning, I have 7 in a row.
Yeah, that's what the rumor is. 7 in a row.
But all of them, the last few have been so close. Last night, a 5-point win. I think Oakland was a 5-point win. So you're learning to win. Are we going to have to bring out those Cardiac Kid shirts again?
Hey, we brought that up. I think I need to get that taken care of and get the good people to make us some. But it's just, I know a lot of people was talking about the games we won in a row. But it would be nice if we can win those at the end of February, going into March, 7 in a row, because then we're sitting on a different stage at that point.
Well, knowing that you can win the close ones. And when you have someone like our SRM Concrete Solid performer last night, Arden Lewis, 25 points, but I had him like 10 for 11 at the free throw line down in the fourth quarter.
He did great. He's actually working for me right now at the concession stand at the JV game, and everybody that had Siegel's there as well playing, and everybody who walked in has looked at him and said, man, you hit those big free throws last night. He actually went back and watched the broadcast last night, and he said, oh, man, I didn't know I was 10 for 11. I said, how'd you know? And he said, they said it on the thing last night. And but, he was mad at himself because he missed one. And he said it could have been the big one. But the thing about it is, he'll be back in the gym on Monday shooting those free throws. Freshman kid, but if you look at him, he doesn't play like one. He doesn't look like one. He doesn't act like one. He's just a kid that he wants that ball at the last few seconds to be able to go and ice the game, in which he did it.
I think for him, and I talked about this the previous broadcast, to have Caleb who is a bit older, but also there are probably a lot of backyard games, and I got to, that kind of thing. Maybe bringing him along a little quicker too, younger years. I don't know how all that worked, but
it's just they all act like brothers when we're in practice, and they pick on Arden as the little brother. But man, it's a lot of them they mess with him a lot. If we're having a bad practice, Arden may come in there and take a bad shot in a transition, and they'll be like, that's why we're having a bad practice, because of you. But they'll come and hit one, and they was like, about time you hit one, So they get on each other, man. But he's gonna be a special kid. Like I say, starting quarterback. He's gonna be under center as a sophomore in one of probably the best football regions around here, and but he's not gonna be scared at all.
Yeah.
No, not him.
He definite competitor in that young man. Your team, Wendell, you can play so many different styles, and you get hit with so many different styles too. I think your guys are more comfortable, up and down the floor, using your athleticism. If you can score in the 80s, but the guys have to learn to win those grinded out games.
They do. I was talking to a referee the game we played against Oakland, and we was shooting free throws, and he stood beside me. He said, man, you guys kind of remind me of the old Arkansas Razorbacks and Kentucky Wildcats days and things like that. But I was like, man, I don't want to be like them. I want to be kind of like your Tennessee Vols, which is my team, and being able to play defense hard and hold teams under. We don't want to go up and down on the court with teams unless it's to our advantage. But teams like Siegel last night in Oakland, they kind of get us ready for that region run to where they'll say, hey, can you close these games out? can you be disciplined on offense, make great decisions? And last night we made some bad decisions on offense, some bad decisions on defense. But the schedule that we played beginning of the year, it allowed us to say, hey, in the huddle, we're not yelling at each other in the huddle. We're kind of like talking like, hey, come on, guys, calm down. We know what we're doing. Let's go out and finish it, things like that. We know Arden can hit and close out a game. Elijah came a long way with his free throws. Caleb Lewis, he fouled out last night, which is also another ball handler, and they can shoot those free throws. But trying to get guys to stay locked in and buy in. Just, good crowd environment last night. And like I told him, I said, man, there's something about a game when you see these balloons come out. It was homecoming last night for Siegel. So teams going to play a little harder. The kids have been in the house all week. They was ready to come out the house and come watch a game. So I told our guys, we're down 10-0 before the game even started. We're down 10-0. You got homecoming. You got, all the festivities that could be. You got ice out there on the ground. So you got to play like it's 10-0 right now. And that's the way we played.
Wendell Ingram with us talking Rockville boys basketball. You came out in first quarter dynamite and had, I think, 10 or 11-point lead, and then all of a sudden you look at halftime and it's a 3-point lead and you scored 3 points.
And we had 19 points, I think, at halftime.
Yeah.
And which that's the lowest we've had since I've been at Rockville. And so I had to go back and do some soul searching on myself too, because when I go into the locker room at halftime, I'm screaming and yelling, not basically saying the stuff that we're doing wrong. I'm screaming and yelling because we're not playing the way I envision us to play. So I had to do some soul searching and also remember that I ate too much junk food, so my blood pressure probably was up as well, so I had to calm down a little bit. So, but then I had to look at them like, hey, man, these are 14, 15, 16-year-old guys who probably the same way I laid around all week, they laid around all week. So I had to say, okay, let me step back a little bit. And how I know we're growing as a program, because the guys was walking out of the locker room, they was like, we got you, coach. We got you. And they go out there, and I think in the third quarter we get a run. We jump up to 10 a little bit, and then then we made some bad mistakes, some things like that, and they hit some big shots, and we got in foul trouble. We had to make some subs and things like that. But Siegel's a scrappy team. They're going to play great for Coach Rigsby, so we know they was going to give us their best shot.
Dallas had a very frustrating night last night, didn't he?
Dallas had a frustrating night, but man, he's on cloud nine right now because he's getting these big football offers, so it's kind of keeping him locked in a little bit. But he even said, he was like, man, I wish we played on Tuesday. I need my get back game. But I'm glad we don't play on Tuesday because we need to get back into working on some stuff, some basketball 101.
Well, you did have some good bench play last night. Seeing Buckingham for the first time, I thought he came in and the sophomore gave you some big minutes.
He did great. Buckets. He did great. I kind of got on him a little tough last night when he got to Tech.
Yeah.
But he knows it. He was like, man, I can't get a Tech again because you don't put me back out there if I get a Tech. So we don't put nobody back out there when you get a Tech. But he has to learn from that. Celebrating off of a layup. I asked him, I said, was that your first layup? And he's like, no, sir. I say, well, guess what? We act like you did it before. If that was his first layup, then I would have stopped the game and gave him the ball, and we'd have had a ceremony when we get back to Rockville. But we got to act right. We got to act like we've been there before. That could have been a region game right there to where that's a momentum switcher right there, and we don't want to do that. I mean, not that situation.
Yeah. Others came in, and you kind of, with the flow of the game, had to put people in positions maybe they hadn't been in all year too.
So we was trying to be physical with Siegel at the beginning. Dallas gets 2 fouls. We bring in Messiah to where we tried to put now Casey's playing like it's a big role and Caleb playing a big role, and then it messes up our strategy as far as matchups and things like that. But you don't want to have to try to go to your bench within the first couple minutes of the first quarter. But we do situation stuff like that in practice. So we to work on those situations, and we just gotta stay disciplined, stay locked in.
Wendell Ingram with us talking Rockville boys basketball. I don't have a Tuesday game on the schedule for you. You don't?
No, that was our open date. We originally was supposed to be playing Franklin at the beginning of the season, but they kind of double booked a game, so they ended up dropping us. But yeah, there was already a scheduled open day for us. So
it's a good thing you played last night.
It was a great thing. If we hadn't played last night, man, it was gonna be tough, very tough. We would have probably had to have a blue-white game or something. I don't know.
Well, so next Friday, the next game at Rockvale, then at Blackman. So a couple of huge games on the road, and I guess really none bigger than that February 10th Blackman game. We get to that point, this may be, maybe a region preview or whatnot. Oakland is playing really well.
Yeah.
Riverdale, Oakland, I think you're probably a couple of wins in the win column away from maybe being the district champ.
Yeah, right now I think I try not to look at it, but I look at it by accident sometimes.
Well, beating Siegel twice helped.
I think that helped us a whole lot. And then with Riverdale losing to Oakland last night, I think it shapes out a little bit for us now to where we will be the regular season champs now.
Well, now what you have to do is continue that momentum and build some momentum. So that's
and staying healthy. That's the biggest thing. I know that flu bug is definitely going around. I take my vitamins and things like that. I guess it's vitamins, but I take something, orange juice or whatever it is. But I just try to stay healthy, man, and try to keep it for the long haul. Now, try to talk to you guys all the way up until the third week of March.
Well, there are plenty of donuts in there. They've got healthy, nutritious things.
I heard that, but I want to get the one without the sprinkles. The sprinkles is what makes it unhealthy.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. It's not the glaze or anything else.
No.
Well, I had fun watching your team last night, Wendell, and appreciate you coming in this morning to talk about it. We'll see you here in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, guys.
Wendell Ingram on the Coaches Show this morning, brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete.
Is your car running like a dream, or does it need a little TLC? At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we treat your vehicle like it's one of our own. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
Been coming to them ever since he opened up. Good family. I recommend other people to get them repaired here because I knew they would do it and do it right. Been happy to send people to him because I trust what he does so much.
We're crazy about him. It's all about the doctor.
For quality care you can trust, visit Dr. Automotive in Smyrna. We've got the cure for your car.
In Rutherford County, we need a sheriff who leads from the front, not from behind the desk. That's Kenneth Barrett, out on calls, side by side with deputies, tackling the tough stuff every shift. He's the working man's leader, supervising with sharp eyes, serving with steady hands, keeping our families safe. Born here, raised here, he's ready to protect here.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff, and I would appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, Treasurer Jan Stewart.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
And we welcome you back to the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, and this portion brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, of course. Family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com. Matt Rigsby joins me here, the head coach of the Siegel Stars. Been quite a week, Matt. I mean, it's just been crazy.
I'd say poor Prentice Allsup Heating and Air's had quite a week.
Yeah,
I'd say
or,
so.
Or a good week, I guess.
Well, God bless what they do to, keep families heat on. I know that, especially in this weather.
How does it feel? Because I don't remember it being where everything just completely shuts down for like 4 or 5 days. We played Friday night and then boom, we're stuck at home. Nobody wants a break, I don't think, but I guess the bottom line is if you've got some people that are, got some nagging injuries, it's a good time for them to heal. They really can't go anywhere if they don't sled. So
I know that.
I mean, and you have to worry about that. But tell me what it was like as a coach going through that time when there's really nothing to do. You can't do anything.
Well, I mean, not just the kids. Personally speaking, myself included. We're all creatures of habit and routine, right. And so And in the back of your mind, you're like, you hope these guys aren't out here riding four-wheelers and sledding and doing all the things. But I mean, we go through this 1 week break. We'll have one every 2-3 years maybe. Quote unquote a big snow, but now the snow wasn't the issue this time. It was the ice. But still, I mean, the saving grace is, we're playing all these region and district games. So therefore we're all in Rutherford County. We're all under the same central office Rutherford County blanket. So it's fine with me if everybody's under the same playing field, if we can only get one practice in and go play, versus you're in a district with different school districts, and Wilson County may have opened up 3 days earlier and got 3 days of practice under their belt before you got to go play them or something like that. So if everybody's on the same playing field, it's
and I guess if U-Haul had not practiced Thursday, you probably would you have played on Friday or something?
No, I don't think that's good for the kids to be. I wouldn't have minded it. Again, if Rockville's not getting to practice on Thursday,
right?
But I don't think that would be good for Rockville's athletes or ours. You need one under your belt.
Well, I would think too for the physical part of it, in terms of just getting your legs back,
of course,
that kind of thing.
Yeah,
keep from injuries. Well, the last time I talked to you, we hadn't even played district games. You're 2-2 in district. You won 60-50 over Riverdale. Tell us a little bit about that game. Then we'll talk about the game at home against Rockville.
Well, both games are snapshots of all the other games I've discussed on these airways. Is we just can't get out of the gates and have a good start, a decent start. I mean, we start out 7-0 last night. I can't remember what the start was at Riverdale, but I do remember we were down 29-20 at the half. So we've got to learn to focus a little bit better before warm-ups, in the locker room, during warm-ups, and I don't know. I've still not got it figured out yet, if I'm being honest here.
Well, it's kind of like Kel Martin had problem scoring last night. They did a good job defensively on him in terms of trying to get extra shots, but he scored 13 as well in the other game. But Kel's a solid player, and you've got Goring and Conte just kind of maybe putting it all together at the same time. Is that maybe part of it?
Well, there's no excuses to be made. I mean, I believe you'll be able to believe me when I say this. If you notice, Kel didn't even play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So we had a little adversity there. Kel's under the weather. He tried to soldier through it in the first half, but no, I mean, give Rockville credit. I mean, he was out there, and they done a great job of defending, sticking to their game plan with him. But he was under the weather, a little adversity there. Credit Omar Conte. He had 23 last night, I believe. Yeah. So he stepped in. Kel's our quote unquote leading scorer. That doesn't mean he is the leading scorer every night, but statistically, he is.
Well, in that game last night, you had opportunities against Rockville. And you cut the lead, and you had opportunities, and it just kind of just out of your grasp, just a little bit of bad shot here, or a shot didn't fall. You were in that game. I mean, there was even to the 3-minute mark, you all were in that game.
Rush shots early. We got a little out of sorts offensively early, but that's going to happen too when you dig yourself a hole so early. Mm-hmm. You're going to try to hit a 4- and 5-point shot that possession instead of just getting the look that, you're taught to get, execute what you're supposed to be doing offensively. But if I'm being a little harsh, if you miss 10-plus free throws, you don't deserve to win anyway.
Yeah. I think my stats had you doing really good on the boards.
We did.
Against them, and they're much bigger than they're really bigger than you when you put Paldo in there with them. I know you had to be kind of and you had multiple chances on shots. It just wouldn't fall. It's just but where do you think now at this point with you want to get a little momentum, get good starts, because you've got district tournament coming up and you've got region tournament. I mean, you want to be, I guess there's parts of the game that you guys are playing that are great, you're doing well, but there's certain parts of it, aspects, good start is something that you want to work on as you get ready closer, because we're almost there. It's unbelievable.
It is crazy to say that, but I mean, we're about to turn the calendar to February.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that we can definitely improve on, getting a better start, obviously being one of them. We're not a terrible foul shooting team. Last night we decided to be.
Yeah.
game to game, things are going to happen. You know, the Kel Martins of the world are going to be under the weather. You know, things are going to happen. But at the end of the day, I know what I have. I know I've got a team that's going to compete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't stay in those games. Again, I keep mentioning it, and I can't help it, but it's the bitter truth of what's plaguing us right now is having these bad starts, but you don't stay in these games and still have a chance to win in the fourth quarter if you don't have that compete level and play as hard as we do. So I'm never going to take that aspect away from my kids.
They play hard, and I'm thinking as I look at it, Rockville's got the edge here in the district season, but I just think it's kind of up for grabs. I mean, there's enough teams in there that, and the games are close. There's not anybody blowing anybody out of the gym by any means. I just think it's a toss up really in terms of I think you have to give Rockville the advantage in terms of what they're playing right now. But like I said, if you look at the scores, you go Siegel's just got as big a chance as just about anybody.
Oh, it's we're all just a bunch of nuts. I mean, right now, I mean, somebody's going to get it figured out. And again, back to your point, we are running out of time a little bit, but it's easier to figure it out if you put together 4 quarters of basketball, and that's plaguing us right now.
You know, last year, and you lost some really talented players. I mean, but I've been impressed with Goring has kind of taken over as the point. And Kel has had great games. I love that kid. I mean, I just think he plays hard all the time. And in fact, he made one save that I just couldn't believe that he even got to. And
I remember the
now
play.
that you're telling me that he's under the weather, or was under the weather, that's makes it even more amazing. Conte had a good game. You've got some other guys too that contribute. It's not a one-man band, but it's a really coordinated effort by everybody.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Damon Goring. You know, our senior point guard he's got it as tough as anybody out there. You know, they're running, jumping him, everything else. I don't know if you saw last night. I got so frustrated at the official because not only is Damon getting jump trapped and having to deal with that, he retreat dribbles and about trips over the official. He was standing right behind him. I'm like, I don't know if you remember that play or not, but I'm like, poor Damon's got it tough enough. Let's not add a third defender wearing zebra stripes. But he takes it in stride, and he's a tough kid. He's a tough player, and I can't say enough about how he's handled our team from the point guard position this year.
And in all fairness to him, I mean, the experience part of it, he's not had like you would say a normal senior would have. He was playing, behind some really good players in terms. But to take it like he is, and a great ball handler. I mean, he's just amazing. I love to watch him. And he goes to the basket about as well as anybody does.
Agreed. And, I've said it here before. I mean, between he and Kel, they're the only two that got
any minutes
last year. So, we inherited 5.7 points per game from last year's team, on the floor between those two. So, we had a lot of figuring out to do early on the fly and, getting the minutes. And this is coming up Tuesday, should be, I believe, game 23, 22 or something like that. So we can't use the inexperienced card anymore, though.
Right. And let's talk about Matt Rigsby's our guest here. He's the head coach of Siegel High School. Let's talk about next week. I don't know if the schedule has been changed because of, one game. I guess you had to make up a game. You got to make up one.
The at Laverne makeup will be February the 11th.
Okay. All right. And that was a non-district game, I guess. So that
region. Yeah, it was a non-district.
Yeah. So who do you have on Tuesday?
We've got Blackman at home Tuesday.
So that's a big game, and it's non-district, but it's a region game.
Correct.
And Matt, does it kind of give you a where are we now? Where are we standing playing Blackman? He's really talented. Those have always been big battles, good games.
We've always had battles with Blackman, whether it be at our place or theirs, last couple of years, and they've been fun. I love coaching against Coach Wortman. Obviously, he does a fantastic job. Everybody knows that in this area. I have not got to see them live yet. They actually play their makeup game versus Riverdale today. So I'd like to get over there and see Blackman live. I mean, they return a lot, actually, so it's not like I don't know their personnel. They return a lot more than we did, but I do need to see them live, so I can't fully answer that yet. Obviously, they've got a fantastic record. They've got great wins under their belt so far. So, we're going to keep plugging away at what we're supposed to be doing, by the way, and we'll figure Blackman out come Tuesday, hopefully.
You know, what's amazing about the weather, you only missed one game. You know, I think the weekend it happened at a good time, I guess, because then that way, because if it had happened on a Monday night, you might have missed, or Tuesday night, it might have missed 2 games. So it's hard enough to schedule anyway, but to try to get makeup games in too is pretty tough.
Yeah, if we didn't get to play last night, you know, the last thing you wanted was having to reschedule and get 4 games in 1 week.
Right.
You know, you did not want that.
Right.
And of course, you've got to get your district. You know, your district games are priority over your region games, but I definitely didn't want to lose the Laverne game. I'm not in the business of taking games away from the kids.
Right.
You know, if they're on the schedule, we won't play them.
Yeah.
And so it could have. The only nerve-wracking part about this past week was, you know, just waiting to get the call. Can we practice today? It was every day. Can we practice today? Can we not? Check your email. Check your email. You know, it was from day to day. But again, everybody was having to deal with it, so
Right.
it's not a complaint.
Yeah, but knowing you, I think it might have been a little harder on you than most people. I don't know why I say that, but
I think you know why you say
Yeah.
that, but I can't disagree with that, to be honest with you.
You know, I think it's going to be a really exciting district tournament. I think it's going to be, no matter how the regular season turns out, and I think the region's going to be awesome. And it's I think a lot of it's just mainly getting on a roll and playing well at the right time, isn't it?
I think we found a way to do that last year.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a different team, different roster. You can't rest on what you did last year, but I think we were an example of what you just said, quite frankly. And don't forget, those tournaments that you mentioned will be hosted by Siegel High School.
There you go. That helps.
You get that plug in there.
Yeah. And you know, I want let's talk about that a little bit, because I know one time at Blackman when they went through the district and the region and sectional, and I'm like going, we almost lived at Blackman, and it's going to be that. But you've got a lot of people that do a good job for you at Siegel, with the administration and that kind of thing, that'll take care of all that. But it's a job now. I mean, that's a long week or two, you know.
And I'm glad you brought that up. We do have a new administrator, principal, Mr. Stephen Wayne, at Siegel High School. He's been fantastic to work with. Larry Creasy, if you happen to be listening, hello. I still think the world of you, of course, and I'm thankful for you. But Mr. Wayne has been fantastic. But outside of him, of course, all of administrators, major support system.
Yeah, it's important. But one other thing, Mr. Wayne is a much better dresser, it looks like, than Mr. Creasy. I'm not sure.
You know what? I don't. Mr. Creasy isn't my boss anymore, so I can agree with that. You're right. He's a fantastic dresser now. Mr. Wayne's got it going on.
Let's end on that. I think that's a good place to end. That's Matt Rigsby, the head coach of the Siegel Stars. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Lascassas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, farm supplies, and more. Up next, we're talking to Eagleville, Davey McLaren. Stay with us.
And we welcome you here to the Renaissance of Heating and Air Coach's Corner. This portion of the show is brought to you by the Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a complete tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. I have on the phone with me Davey McLaren, the head coach of the Eagleville Eagles. And Davey, it's been quite a week, a strange week, I would say.
Yeah, it's been a headache for most basketball coaches, I would assume.
You know, I was meaning to ask while we were stranded at the house. I was sitting there going, no practice. You have one day, I think you had one day before practice again. It's got to drive you kind of crazy because you don't want to lose momentum either, and everything just shuts down completely.
Yeah, you know, the only thing that goes through your head is that every team's going through the same thing.
Right.
So, you know, some teams it's good for a restart. For some teams it's good to get their legs back underneath them. And then, you know, for some, like you said, losing momentum is a concern. Also, you got to think, you know, kids are going to be kids. You kind of worry, are they out having a good time? and are they putting themselves at risk as well? So a lot of things can go through your head at that time. So just too much time to sit around and think.
I think one good thing, you get away from each other in case there's illness going around or flu or something like that. It kind of keeps them away from each other as much as you can. So I would think that might be a good thing. Let's talk a little bit about it. You've been on a roll, and we're not going to sugarcoat it. You've been on a roll, and sometimes that can be challenging as well to keep that momentum going. And you had a game against Forest last night, which is always a formidable opponent for you guys, and you handled them pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, we're very fortunate. We've got 6 seniors and 2 juniors that are just very experienced. The maturity has blossomed this year, and so they're pretty focused. You worry about, their legs underneath them, but coming in and just playing basketball and doing the little things right, it's kind of ingrained in them at this point. So it was good to get all the guys back together and to, get the ball back in the hands and run up and down the court. But last night was a good way to knock the rust off. They played really well defensively. Couldn't have asked for any better, effort on that end. We were rusty. I know the score doesn't show it. We didn't shoot well from the outside. We scored a lot on transition and second chance shots, which, we found ways to score, which is always a good quality. So they know that there's some things that we've got to do to get back to where we were offensively with our outside shooters, but everything else looked good last night.
I want to talk about a little bit about that in terms of you got some really great shooters from outside. Jackson Nichols comes to mind first, I think. And when he is hot, there's nobody any better than shooting that outside jumper. But you got Bega, you've got Cole. I mean, they all can shoot the three at that time. So that's a good weapon to have. But I think the thing I'm most impressed about you guys is your bench. You really don't lose a lot if you have to go to the bench. If somebody's in foul trouble, you've got at least 3 or 4 that you can go to. And even I look at the JV and the guys that are coming up that are younger that get in games. It's pretty impressive. I mean, you guys have kind of built yourself a real cushion there, I think, with your bench.
Yeah, I mean, our practices are highly intense, and those guys just they feed off those older, seniors and juniors that are on the JV, and there's just a culture is kind of a word that's used around. We built a culture. Our seniors hold our younger guys accountable. They know, our younger guys know that we need to be, work hard every day. We need competition every day in practice. And I'm really, really proud with where a lot of those guys, their commitment to, details and playing hard and playing the way that we want to play and the way we know that we have to play to win. Our bench is, there's some nights when we go to the bench we get way better. And some nights we stay the same. I don't think we ever go to the bench and drop at all. So that's a luxury that we have, and that's probably our biggest weapon. And I think most people will agree with that. We go to the bench, there's no drop off, and sometimes it's better.
It's kind of a spark for you sometimes. I know Severi, I mean, he comes in like gangbusters. I mean, he's probably sparks a lot of times if you're feeling like it's dragging a little bit during the game, and he kind of puts a spark in it. Got a brother. I mean, it's fun to watch, and you're a fun team to watch when you're. And I guess I've seen probably more games than anybody here at the radio station, but it's fun to watch. I wanted to talk a little bit about the senior leadership too, because you don't take anything for granted, and when you're undefeated and you're having the year you're having, you have a tendency to have a letdown sometimes. But those seniors have done a good job of kind of keeping everything together.
They really have. There's a couple of things. Number one, Adrian Severi is probably a starter on 99.9% of the teams that we compete against, probably every team.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, his leadership is he's accepted a role. It's not easy to do when you're as talented and as needed as somebody to that caliber. But he embraces his role. I won't say that that's a hard role for a high school athlete to accept, and he knows that that's something that has been to our benefit, is knowing that we can start a game, but we can bring in someone that's as good as any starter on the floor. And so he, as a senior, has embraced that role for the team. So that's one form of leadership that I think sometimes goes, overlooked, is the fact that, that's a selfless act, and very proud of him. The other is, we have a lot of kids on the team that have a lot of individual goals. They put them aside. They want to see their name with lots of points beside it, but they have just been super unselfish this year. They're passing up tough shots for easy shots. Defensively, they're diving on the floor. They're sacrificing their bodies, taking charges. They're all over the place. So I mean, that's in my book. The growth that we've had this year is just they put their teammates over themselves a lot of times, and I'm super proud of that.
Davey, when I sit there and look at the guys, I don't know if there's a true post there, but you've got two or three that can almost act as post. They can play inside, they play big, but the transition game, I think, is one of the strongest things about your team. You get the ball, you play do great defense, and then when you get the ball, you go up the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we're not very big. I don't think, a lot of people probably think, if they just see our record and think, well, they've probably got some size. We're usually not the biggest team on the floor. I don't know that we've been the biggest team all year, except with the exception of one or two teams in our district. There's a lot of teams bigger than us in our own district, with one or two players down on the block. So, I mean, our team, when we play defense on bigs or we try to use our athleticism and our quickness to pressure the ball so that they can't see their bigs. Probably don't always work as well, but it has so far. And then, our kids love to play. I'm probably a defensive-minded coach, and hope I can live up to that, the rest of the year. But offensively, I give them a lot of freedom. They want to run, and I let them. And so, that is a huge part of our game. They're taking care of the ball, and like I said, they're hunting the easy shots. And when we're hunting the easy shots and the open shots, I mean, really, that's all offense is just finding an open shot. So why not get it early when we have an advantage 3-on-2 and wait until it's 5-on-5? So it's paid off so far. I know we'll talk about tonight's game because we're still on right now, but so far it's paid off for us. They enjoy playing fast.
Well, today you kind of segued right into that, Dave. If you're sitting there and you want to see a good basketball game today, you don't have to do anything but go down Highway 99 and watch Eagleville take on Pickett County. And you say that game still looks like it's going to be played today.
I'm waiting on a phone call any minute. I know they want to play. It starts at 5. I'm waiting on their coach to call me back to make sure. I know they had some weather last night, but they want to play. They want some revenge. I think we're the number 1 and they're the number 2 team ranked in the state currently. So, they probably have highlighted this game since we left Pickett County. They've been on the tear ever since. And if there's a team out there that's going to give us all we want, it will definitely be this one. So, we're going to get better tonight regardless of the outcome. We find a way to win and play our game. That'll be great. If we don't play well due to whatever layoff or just whatever the excuse may be that we can find, we'll learn something anyway. So it should be a great atmosphere tonight. Two really, really good teams coming in, and two teams that know how to win, that have high expectations. So if you want to see a good boys basketball game, it'll definitely be at Eagleville tonight.
Well, I've been trying to search the schedule. You play at 5. The girls will play when today?
Well, no, the girls start at 5.
Oh, the girls
play after. Yes, sir.
Okay, so it'll be 5, and then you play after the girls.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I have been looking for like all week trying to find out the times of that game. Thank you very much. I know you're having a super season, but the goal really, you want that state championship. I know you've prefaced that in terms of with the guys, but they want it too. They've been around enough, and they've sniffed it, and they've been close. I know that's their main goal, right?
It really is. We don't talk about our record, not because we're superstitious or anything. We just talk about the next game. They really have bought into next game mentality. I'm sure they're very aware, and there's a lot of people outside of the program that probably bring up the record and the year. But at the end of the day, I think our guys just see who's in front of them, and they're trying to be the best team in the gym that night. And I think they've taken on that identity, and it's fun to watch. They're fun to coach. They're hungry, and they put a lot of work into it. So they're kind of hopefully they keep keep up the momentum and keep. Getting all the rewards from their work.
I did want to say before I let you go, your youngsters, you've kind of got a good system going. Bo and the JV, you've got freshmen. They're learning the system as they go. And I think when schools can do that, it's such a luxury to have because they know exactly what your goals are and what your expectations, and you can see it even in the young guys too.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Bo does a great job with that group, getting them learning how to play hard and how to execute and how to transition from middle school to high school. That is a very, very difficult learning curve. And I also want to take just a second to congratulate and brag on our middle school. They won their district, and they're fixing to go into region play. We don't know when that's going to be because they're supposed to go to Nashville and play, and I think there's been, some issues with power and gyms and everything else. So, but they won again this year, and you don't really just start it in high school. It starts all the way down to middle school. So Coach Wilson has done a great job, for the last 7-8 years, and it really is a program that starts in 6th grade, and so you're right. The young ones seeing the success of the older ones, it builds on top.
Well, Davey, I know you've got a lot of people, a lot of phone call waiting on you, and I hope you can get that game in today. And it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. And girls undefeated, guys undefeated in the district, looking pretty good so far.
Yes, sir. It's been a good year to this point.
All right. That's Davey McLaren, the head coach of the Eagleville Eagles, and Pickett County tonight. If that game does take place, I'm sure it'll be on Coach T if it's canceled or that kind of thing. But, boy, that's going to be a great place to be tonight.
Yes, sir. Come out and support the Eagles.
Yes, sir. And I'll probably see you there tonight, hopefully. All right.
Yes, sir.
Davey McLaren, the head coach of the Eagleville Eagles, and this portion of the show has been brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Milton, Alex Williams, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And we've got coming up Cougar Corner. Stay right here.
Talk Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's has a team of experienced auctioneers and realtors who make selling your property simple. Whether you're selling your home, farm, or have an estate to settle, auctions are easy, fast, and profitable. You don't have to worry about the hassle of updates, repairs, or showings, and you'll receive multiple offers on auction day.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan France Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
It's time to talk about Middle Tennessee Christian School sports. It's MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Each week we sit down with the coaches to recap the latest games and preview what's ahead. It's time to talk about the orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner, right here on WGNS and Big G TV. Stay tuned. The show is coming up right after this message from our sponsors.
And we will have Cougar Corner. John Dinkins talking MTCS boys basketball in just a second. I do want to let you know that we're going to break away at 11:30 for Middle Tennessee women's basketball as the Lady Raiders are taking on Western Kentucky. We'll break away at 11:30, but the full podcast will be at wgnssports.com. Cougar Corner starts in just 1 minute. Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Here's Dr. Russell McKissick with TOA.
We have a passion here for taking care of our athletes here in Rutherford County. We really do our best to take care of them.
Experts in joint, bones, and muscles.
Many years we've been taking care of athletes around here, and we've just picked up where Dr. John started, and we just keep going.
TOA has a playbook that gets you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. TOA, live your best life.
We're back for MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance and fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
And we welcome you to MTCS Cougar Corner. John Dinkins here with you and Coach Chris Lawson of the Cougars. And Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm tired this morning, but I'm good. I'm blessed, John.
It's been a crazy week, hasn't it, in terms of weather?
It has been, and it's going to be even more crazy this next week, trying to get all the games in. I got 2 kids in middle school, so finishing up James C. Hill. And
oh, my, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got the finals today at 6, and then TIAA conference tournament starts up pretty much right after that. They just kind of back up to each other and working in 3 or 4 high school games, and it'll be all hands on deck and every day.
It's crazy. Jason Piercy, I know he always looks forward to the James Hill tournament. It keeps him busy. But it's a great tournament. To take just a second or two to talk about that, it is probably one of the most exciting tournaments anywhere around, and it's a middle school, junior high. And it goes so far back that I coached in the James C. Hill tournament, and that was probably 30 years ago. So it's something, and I think it's good for MTCS to host that, and they've done a great job every year.
But obviously I'm being first year being new there or whatever. First time on the inside of the James C. Hill tournament, but it is a really neat thing. It's got a prestigious feel to it. The people that are involved are what make it feel so neat and you know, like a state tournament. The teams that come in, they bring great crowds, and you know, it's just all the things that they kind of come together, from the crowds to the players to the coaches, the concessions. Just, you know, it's a really neat setup. You're running 2 gyms, and there's a ton of basketball being played. So it's been neat. It's a lot. There's a lot of folks that volunteer to help out to make it go. But I'm interested today to